Boo! Oh, I'm sorry guys, that was too spooky. I know it was. Are you calm? I hope you are, because you're about to get scared again. What is up guys? I am Bijuu Mike. Today we're going to be reacting to some more animations. Now we've done this in the past, but this time it's gonna get real spooky, okay? Hold on to your shorts, okay? I hope you're wearing shorts, because that doesn't make no sense. And again, I have to give credit to the YouTuber Mess Yourself. I do watch him, and sometimes I get some ideas from him, and I seen that he was reacting to these. I was like, boy, these look spooky, okay? I want to get spooked myself. So I just want to give credit. I want to give credit where credit's due, because I'm not original. I mean, no one's original on YouTube, really. It's a reaction video, for God's sakes. So the channel that we're going to be reacting to is called Llama Arts, guys. Now, before we watch this video, guys, I want you to go to their channel and subscribe. Well, first watch their videos, or if you like this video, guys, be sure to hit the subscribe button. I mean, look at their videos. They're extremely popular, so I'm assuming they're pretty awesome. I've never watched any videos from them. I want it to be a spooky surprise, all right? So be sure to hit that subscribe button, just like I did. I'll link their channel in the description and at the end of this video. Let's get to it. Is there any mumbo? I also did get their permission. I want to let you guys know that. I sent them an email. They said they were cool with this, so really awesome. You know what? Let's go ahead and start off with true Home Alone stories, because there's nothing, I mean, you guys can relate to me right now. You go watch a scary movie, and then you come home, and then your parents are like,
hey, I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go to work, but you're gonna stay home alone in the dark.
I don't know why you can't just turn on your lights. And you're just terrified of whatever that scary movie that you watched is gonna come and get you, especially in the shower. Still to this day, I'm in the freaking shower, and you know, I gotta keep one eye open to make sure there's not a demon looking at me over my shower curtain. Like, it's an actual problem. So why don't we feel that with these animations, okay?
It was very common for me to be home alone at night, as I only...
He's got his voice to this? I literally have not watched anything. I was just like, I wanted to be surprised. That's really cool. Oh god, I think it's gonna actually scare me though.
It was very common for me to be home alone at night, as I only lived with my dad, and his shifts would constantly shift from days to nights. This happened around the time my dad was doing night shifts. It's always taken me a long time to fall asleep, so after turning off the TV to go to sleep, I probably laid there for a good half hour. Then, I heard a toy fall over in my toy closet. It was nothing too suspicious, but it still creeped me out. But then, the doorknob to my closet started to wiggle.
No, you're lying! You're lying! Well, yeah, Michael, it's an animation! No, it might be a true story, okay? I don't know. I really don't know. You know, I'm actually a heavy sleeper, which I don't hear a lot of noises at night because I just don't wake up. But actually, that's the scariest part about being a heavy sleeper, is that if you hear demon noises, you don't hear them, okay? My wife can be dragged off by a freaking, giant bat. She can be dragged off by a monster, and I would not know it. That's how heavy I am at sleeping. And she always tells me how there's like these crazy noises at night, these banging and I don't know, scratching, and it's like I don't hear it.
But then the doorknob to my closet started to wiggle.
I don't buy this.
Until finally unlocking the door.
Oh god.
I hid under my covers, not making a sound. It was strangely quiet for a good 2 minutes, so I finally peeked my head out.
No, don't you do it!
There was a figure standing next to my bed, looking down at me. I screamed at the top of my lungs and began hugging the wall behind me. The figure looked out the window and then just walked away out of the room. I stayed in that position for like an hour before checking if he was really gone. The front door was left wide open, so it seemed he had left. I didn't get a minute of sleep that night.
Are you living out in the country by yourself or something? What's going on? Like, I know he said he lives with his dad, but that's terrifying. If your front door's open, you leave. You don't go back to bed, okay? Your bed's not gonna do anything. I know you guys think that going back under the covers is gonna just fix everything. No, it does not. It's just as if the monsters come in there, they're all buff and huge and, you know, evil with red eyes. Oh crap, he got under the covers. All right, let's call it a day. We're gonna go back. We wasted our time. That's pretty good though. This is one of their older videos though, 2015. But that was a pretty creepy starter. Okay, we gotta make it creepier. Honestly, thought that said Ligma Arts. I was like, what? Scary true horror stories animated? So was the one that I watched not true? Probably not. I mean, anyone can make that up, but it's still spooky to think about because that's what you're scared of when you go to sleep. All right, now I'm gonna go to bed tonight and just be terrified. Great, thank you. So these are true stories. It says it, so it must be true.
I'm 27 years old. I live alone in a rural town in Virginia, about 2 blocks away from my parents.
Oh, crap.
My parents are both in their 60s, and my mom has become a very worrisome woman in her old age. Sometimes she walks over uninvited and lets herself in, since I had regrettably given her a key, which can get a bit annoying.
Wait, regrettably? Who a key? Your mom?
But
Yeah, I mean, no one wants their mom, especially when you're 27, did you say? When you're 27, you don't want your mom just busting through the door, like, say, hey, I'm naked. That's the horror story right here for me.
Like, if I would be out really late on weekends at a bar or with women, I would sometimes come home to my mom sitting in the living room waiting,
awkward,
worried
so
sick.
Awkward.
I know you may just think, oh my god, that's crazy, why not just put your foot down and tell her to stop?
Yeah.
Well, because you don't know my mom. It's
this is
very hard to
creepy.
describe her, but she's the kind of worrisome, innocent little lady that you just can't bring yourself to go against. And I hate to mention, she also has mild dementia. Anyway, this was Saturday night. I think it was around 2 in the morning.
Dementia? She has dementia? Yeah, because, I mean, it's your mom, too. I have kind of a different situation than most people when it comes to my mom, so that's why it's a little different for me. But, like, yeah, I mean, if your mom is really sweet, you had a good childhood, she raised you really good, it's like, of course, like, it'd be really hard to say no, and, you know, I would get it, especially if she has dementia, which I believe is, like, I gotta look that up. It's a general term for loss of memory with other mental abilities severe enough to interfere with daily life. It's caused by physical changes in the brain. Alzheimer's is the most common type. Oh, that I did not know that. So it's basically, okay, so she could forget, and it's just like she's not all there. I get it. And that does come with old age, for a lot of people, a lot of old people.
Anyway, this was Saturday night. I think it was around 2 in the morning. I was at a nearby club with a group of college friends, really the only place to hang out in this boring town, and I was getting ready to head home. I said goodbye to all my friends and walked the 3 blocks it took to get back to my house.
Oh, in the
I
rain,
walked up
too.
my front stoop in my drunken haze and dug my hand in my pocket for my keys. When I grabbed the doorknob, I realized it was unlocked. My mom was here again.
Dang it. That was, yeah, that
I quietly opened and shut the front door, locking it behind me. I put my keys on the kitchen counter and found a note written in my mom's handwriting saying, "You forgot this at our house, next to the box of half-eaten cake my parents didn't want."
Is that a Portal reference? The cake is not a lie. I was like, she's a fan of Portal. You got an awesome mom.
I didn't see my mom anywhere, so I assumed she must have gone upstairs to sleep in the guest bed until I got back, which is something she would commonly do as well.
Okay.
Then I heard footsteps upstairs, confirming it. And that's when I sighed once again. 27 years old, almost 3 in the morning, and she still has to wait up and treat me like a child.
No.
I ran upstairs to check the guest bed. Empty, along with all the bathrooms. I was afraid Mom was having one of her episodes due to her condition, so I ran to the phone to call my dad. After 4 rings, my dad picked up in a groggy voice, asking what the hell is the matter. After I told him that I heard Mom wandering around upstairs in my house, there was a short pause, and then he said, "That's not possible, she's sleeping right next to me."
No! I knew he was gonna say that. Oh my god, it's giving me chills, guys. Holy crap, I did not expect that. Oh, I did, but like, I was hoping it wasn't true. I was like, but that's not your mom. He just pooped his pants, and you know it, like, right? You can't see it, but you know he did. Oh god, okay. True stories? Like, what are the odds? Like, his mom's always coming in and out of the house. What are the actual odds of her not being there this time? Out of all of the times, what are the odds? Maybe she did leave the door unlocked though, because think about it, like that's actually the worst part about giving her the keys. The fact that she has dementia, she probably won't forget to lock the doors. So that's probably how this person got in. Or is it even a person? Is it a demon? I don't know.
"That's not possible, she's sleeping right next to me."
Oh god, here we go. Holy crap,
My mouth fell
holy
open
crap,
as I turned my
holy
head
crap.
to face the dark upstairs. And just barely, by the light provided by the kitchen, I could see a head peering around from the corner at the top of the stairs, looking down at me.
Oh my
I screamed into
god!
the phone as I ran out the front door and down the street to my parents' house, explaining to my father on the way.
Oh!
About halfway there, my dad told me, "Alright, I'm gonna call the cops," and hung up. I made it to my parents' house, where my mom was already waiting at the door,
Holy
worried
crap,
sick.
that's so scary.
My mom explained that she did come over to clean my kitchen a little bit
I
and to
knew
bring
it.
over the cake they didn't want.
I knew it.
2 police cars pulled up in front of my parents' house, where they escorted me and my dad down the street to my house. 1 officer stayed outside with us, while 2 others went inside to investigate. It felt like 15 minutes before they came back outside and said it was clear. They checked the crawl space, the attic, everything.
Oh, this guy's got a crawl space in an attic, which makes this 1 billion times worse. Like, I've seen the Grudge, okay? And I know that she's always in a corner. And you can hide anywhere. Alright, so, okay, it's not okay, alright? If I came home and I see Clarence, this demon right here, if you're new to the channel, say hi to Clarence, I guess I'll show you. If I come home and see this guy, this boy right here, staring at me, you guarantee I'm burning my house down. Like, so I use every opportunity I have to show people Clarence, okay? It's just so odd. Okay, we gotta continue.
Felt like 15 minutes before they came back outside and said it was clear. They checked the crawl space, the attic, everything. There was really nothing for me to report, other than the door was left unlocked and I saw the outline of a head upstairs before I ran for it.
Oh, you know they're gonna say it was just his
imagination. I didn't feel safe sleeping in there that night, so I went back to my parents' house.
Yeah, I wouldn't sleep there either.
Me and my dad are certain that my mom simply forgot to lock the door when she left, as her memory has been getting worse over the past few months. My dad has been stopping her from coming over alone from now on, which makes me both sad but also relieved. Some nights, I still get paranoid that whoever was in my house that night never left, and is still hiding in here somewhere.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Llama Arts, you got me. You scared me so. Oh god, guys, you gotta subscribe. That's the great thing about animations, is that they can, like, you know, make everything exaggerated and just really creepy. That was so scary. Holy crap. What did I say in the beginning of this video, guys? That I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. Great. Thank you. Oh, here's another one. True Pizza Delivery Stories Animated. Oh god. Great. Now you're gonna stop me from ordering pizza. Do you not want me to eat pizza? Wait, this is number 3? I guess it doesn't matter what order we do this in, but if it's true, then it makes it even extra creepier.
I was out doing a delivery one late night. It was probably the longest drive I have ever taken for a pizza delivery.
I've never delivered pizza, but I have friends that have.
From the pizza place I worked at, it was a 20-minute drive, which isn't too crazy out where I live.
You know, with like
Plus,
Five Nights at Freddy's, you know, just say it's
pies,
scary.
So I figured it was a party, and I would get a much bigger tip.
Oh yeah, you gotta get that
Navigating
money!
the dirt roads at night was always
Honestly though, the thing is my friend was a pizza delivery guy, and that fool would always be pulling out the money. And it was funny because he's always giving me $5. He's like, if you do this, I'll give you $5. This tip money. I'm like, boy, you getting so many tips. I was getting ready to go deliver some pizzas, like seriously. The only thing that's bad about it is that you have to have a good car, and you know, your car won't be good after a while because you'll be driving so much all the time. Sweet car. Flames?
It was some old, sketchy-looking building, literally in the middle of a forest clearing.
Hey, that's
There were
normal.
no cars parked anywhere, or any lights on.
No lights, yeah.
I put my car in park and called my boss. I asked him to reread the address at least 3 times to make sure I typed it in right, but that checked out. I could tell he was in a really mood, and he told me to at least knock on the door and check it out. He would normally get...
Of course this boss doesn't actually understand how creepy this is. This fool's about to die, and all you care about is money. How dare you?
He would normally get mad if we took back 1 pie, but I was afraid of what he would do if I brought back 4.
He had 4 pizzas.
I was insanely unnerved, but got out anyway and forced myself
it's like, do I want to die or keep my job?
There was no
I don't know, it's
doorbell,
hard.
So I just knocked really hard.
The door scratched
I heard
too.
nothing and didn't really expect to hear anything. I was extremely disappointed, not because nobody answered the door, but because I was realizing that it was all a waste of time and gas.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
knocked one more time out of desperation.
And they gotta pay for their gas too. Like, I don't think the job does that.
And then began to hear some kind of rustling noises from inside of the building.
Oh no. Is Jeepers Creepers gonna answer?
I knocked again and
Please tell me
yelled that I
Jeepers
was the
Creepers
pizza
didn't.
guy.
He doesn't want pizza,
There was
right?
silence now. I felt a bit more uncomfortable now than before. But before I could turn around, I noticed something at the window.
No.
There was someone looking through the window. I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman. All I noticed were their eyes. Their eyes were open wider than I knew possible, staring intently at me.
Who's delivering pizza at this hour? It's a good thing eyes don't actually do that in real life, though, because that would be so scary.
I was disturbed enough by this and dropped the pizzas and
He
ran
dropped
back
the
to my
pizzas?
car.
Not the pizza pies! This is when he decided he doesn't care about his job anymore.
The shitty thing wouldn't start until turning the key for the third time.
You're lying. This is not true. There's no way this is true. His car, all of a sudden, doesn't work. It's just like a horror movie.
I drove off the grass and back onto the dirt road, but I felt the car rocking about, shaking and bumping. Something
weird.
wasn't right. I didn't make it far from the building before I started hearing a sharp scraping sound coming from outside.
No.
There was so much resistance that I couldn't even drive.
And the e-brake?
The
The
car
e-brake's
came to
on.
a stop.
You got the e-brake on.
I got out of the car to check what the hell was wrong.
I've done that lots of times.
A chill ran up my spine as I began to feel like my heart was constantly skipping beats.
I don't even know.
My tires had been slashed and had completely fallen off the rim. Not just the front though. All 4 tires were slashed. I realized somebody did this when I was knocking on the door to that building.
Dude, you need to check your truck right now, okay? Actually, drive the car off the cliff while you're at it. So his tires got slashed in the duration he went to go deliver the pizzas? I would ask, like, wouldn't he feel that his tires were like flat? Like, you know when you have a flat tire, it's definitely got to be really... I mean, he did say it was really shaky, but I guess if you're like so terrified, if I see something like that, I would get in my slash tire car and just zoom off, okay? And then he's like, oh, no, that's not okay. The more that I talk about it, the more it makes sense that he didn't notice it.
Instead of running, I got back in the car and locked the doors.
Yeah. Good job, dude. Good job.
I was so close to that building, I could practically see it from where I was, if it weren't for the trees blocking the view. I dialed 911 and explained everything to the operator. She told me the cops would be over as soon as possible and that I need to stay hidden. I asked her if it was advisable to stay in the car or run, and she told me it would be best to stay in the car with the door locked.
Probably, maybe.
She asked me to stay on the line with her until the cops
tough.
arrived.
Oh, he's shaking.
My whole body was shaking. In all directions, there was nothing but dark, seemingly endless forest. I knew it would take forever for the cops to get there. I was not comfortable with sitting in that car so close to whoever did this. The next part, though, is what utterly destroyed me. It still shakes me to this day, and I hope nobody ever has to experience this kind of fear. As I was scanning all the windows, making sure nobody was outside, I looked in the rearview mirror.
I knew it!
And there was the same person. The same person I saw at that window, eyes open wider than ever. I could see now that it was a woman.
Oh.
And I could ever so slightly see a smile begin to spread across her face. I opened my door and...
Maybe she just wanted pizza! She wants more of this pizza, okay? Alright? I just realized that sounded wrong. You know what? I think this is the boss's way of getting rid of employees. He gives them this address and he's like, you better go check it! I don't care if all the lights are off! He sends... When he can't afford the employees or he just simply doesn't like them anymore, he just sends them here and they die and you never have to worry about them again, see? It's a great system, except not, actually. Never worked for this pizza place.
I opened my door and full on sprinted into the woods, not caring how much noise I made. I ran until I was out of breath, which didn't take long, and I hid behind a giant log on the ground.
Too much pizza.
I tried to cover my loud breathing with my hands as I waited and waited
That'd be
for
terrifying.
what felt like hours, until I finally heard sirens in the distance.
Oh, thank God. Thank God.
I gathered up all the stamina I had left to run all the way back in the direction of the dirt road.
Oh,
Eventually,
no. That's so
the
terrible.
glowing red and blue lights came into view, and I had never felt better in my life. They were parked in front of my car, investigating with flashlights. I came out yelling at them like a lunatic to help me. I fell to the floor and started to gag, almost throwing up from running so much.
Oh, okay. I
They
was like,
picked
is he
me up
sick?
and began to question me, to which I explained everything to the best of my ability. One of the 2 cars drove over to the building, and the 2 officers began to search the building.
Oh, the door's open?
They came back with nothing except for a couple of spiky objects. These objects were exactly the same as the ones used to slash my tires.
Oh, okay. How, though?
The cops guessed that it was some kind of sick, demented couple, being that I saw the woman, but unfortunately they were never found, and that still kills me to this day. I obviously quit my job right after that and started working at a local grocery store. I know that I'll never forget seeing that woman
Oh
at the
my
back
God.
of my car.
Today's scrub of the day goes to Quadrant Gaming.
Scrub me. Scrub me. Scrub me.